Welcome to Save U.S. Taxes Legally. We're going to start off with three simple questions. Number one, do you want to leave a legacy for future generations? In the chat, please put yes or no. Question number two, do you want to keep all your information 100% private? Personally, I'm a real estate investor. When I started investing, they told me I had to get an LLC for each one of my properties. They did not tell me that anyone can go online to the Secretary of State, the Corporation Commission, 24/7 and research LLCs, S Corps, and C Corps either by my name or by the LLC's name. 40% of LLCs, S Corps, and C Corps get sued every year. Again, in chat, put yes or no. And question number three, do you want all lawsuits to become frivolous and go away? Can't stop you from being sued, but that's what happens. Again, in the chat, put yes or no. Welcome to Save U.S. Taxes Legally. My name is Sally Gimmon. I'm the owner of www.thetrustisyou.com and also a free class on the Great Discovery. My first name and my last name put together. Imagine saving 4, 5, 6 figures in taxes every single year. You could use this money to pay off your mortgage, to put back into your business, to buy a new vehicle, take your family on a well-deserved vacation, give to your favorite charity, or save for retirement. Imagine nobody knows what you own, where you own it, how much you own, what you do with it, how much you sell it for. Imagine the playing field be level for all businesses. The Amazons of the world get free land. My brother lost his brewery because the rents got too high. I believe every U.S. business owner, U.S. entrepreneur, U.S. franchisee owner, U.S. 1099 income earner, and U.S. investor needs to know this information. I believe since I learned the secret of the rich, it is my duty and my honor to teach it to others. So let's get into this. I'm going to share my screen. So the Spendthrift Trust, it's legal. It's in the IRS Tax Code 643B, and it's been in front of the United States Supreme Court on 2 separate occasions. When you go out to my free class on the Great Discovery, you're going to get a presentation similar to this. You're going to get 3 articles I did not write from Forbes magazine. You're going to get 2 pages of case law so you can research this to your heart's content. Let's go down. Come on, go down. Now, it's in IRS Tax Code 643B. If you contact your financial advisor or your CPA, I can guarantee you they're going to bring up the memo that the IRS wrote on August 3rd of 2023. In this memo, they literally say they do not like Tax Code 643B. They do not like the Irrevocable, Complex, Discretionary, Non-Grantor Spendthrift Trust. It's their opinion. In my opinion, the worst vegetable in the world is lima beans. My mom loved them. They're too big to swallow whole, and you have to chew them. Yuck. So, you do need all 5 elements to make this work. So let's go over this. Irrevocable means it goes from generation to generation to generation. The Rockefellers Spendthrift Trust is called the Office. It's been around for 7 generations, and it has 400 people under the same EIN or employee identification number. Each separate family files a separate 1041 tax return with the same EIN number. There is absolutely no commingling of the money. Next one, complex. This trust can hold money from day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, decade to decade, century to century. The law firm I work on behalf of inherited a trust that turned 350 years old in 2023. We're going to 2026, so it's now 353 years old. 95% of the trusts sold in the United States are what my mom and dad had and what Susie Orman talks about on PBS television. The family trust or the living trust. There's nothing wrong with the family trust or the living trust. It's designed to avoid probate, and then it dissolves and goes away, and all assets are divided. What I'm teaching you here now, the Spendthrift Trust, is not your mom and dad's trust. This is what the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Carnegies, the Kennedys, and our current president's father started back in 1972. Discretionary. Whoever is a trustee or trustees can make the rules for all the beneficiaries while they're alive and also from the grave. Personally, I have 7 nieces and nephews. If I decide I'm going to leave most of my wealth to one nephew and only 1% to everybody else, there's no contesting the will, there's no infighting, there's nothing they can do. One of my clients, a husband and wife with 4 apartment buildings in Los Angeles, they have an adult daughter who has a problem, and they're allowing her to live rent-free in the apartment, but she has to take 4 random drug tests per month to make sure she's not on drugs. She actually took her mom and dad to federal court to sue them, saying it was unconstitutional. The federal judge read over the trust and he told her she had 2 options. Option A, move out, start paying rent, or option B, pass the drug tests and not worry about it. I do not want to be invited to their New Year's dinner at their house. Non-Grantor. Again, my mom and dad had a family trust. Both my mom and dad were the grantors or the settlor of the trust, and both of them passed away. That trust dissolved, and all the assets had to be split up. When you start a spendthrift trust, you're going to have someone who will never be a beneficiary and who will never be a trustee be your non-grantor. They will sign up to be the grantor or the settlor, and then they will sign away from being the grantor or settlor, and that your trust is completely private. You will need their social security number. If this is a speed bump for you, I have done this for several of my clients. It's no big deal. And then the last element, the spendthrift. This has been in front of the United States Supreme Court on 2 separate occasions, and it's won both times. You can't get more legal than that. So those are the 5 elements. Now, this is the 2025 tax bracket. I want to bring this in because I want to show this really quickly. On January 1st of 2025, the IRS quietly changed how we do taxes. There's 4 ways to file your taxes: single, head of household, married filing separately, and married filing jointly. Single is the most expensive way. Married filing jointly is the cheapest way. Look what they did on January 1st of 2025 for married filing separately. They matched up to the 35% tax bracket the same amount as filing single. The only time it differs is when at 37% tax bracket. If you get nothing else from this meeting, if you are married, please file jointly. You will save, here at 24%, you will save double the amount in taxes automatically filing jointly. Now, this is 2026 federal income taxes, and I forget what President Trump's big beautiful bill was called, but I sold a trust in October of 2025, and the tax codes weren't out yet. When 2026 tax codes came out using the same numbers, the couple that I did the business trust for got to save an additional $148. I won't sneeze at $148 for the full year, but it's not that much of a savings. So again, this is 2026 federal income taxes. Now, just to give you an idea, with the business trusts, you're going to save 90% on federal income taxes, and in 43 states with state income taxes, you will no longer pay state income taxes. I did a presentation in Arizona, and this is just showing 2025 numbers of someone making $100,000 in all of 2025. Single or married filing separately, they would save $17,847 they'll never have to pay back. If you're head of household in Arizona, you would save $16,321 in 2025. And then if you're married filing jointly, you would save $13,371. If you make more than $100,000, you save even more. Next page. Now, this is an actual example. This gentleman is single, ladies. He contacted me January 3rd of 2025. He knew in 2024, as a defense contractor being paid 1099 income, he made $150,000 and he had nothing to show for it. He was in the military, he drives a 10-year-old car, and he lives in an apartment with 2 roommates. He thought he was going to make more money in 2025, but we're using $150,000 as his base point just to give him an idea. Gross federal taxes on $150,000 in 2025 numbers would be $28,847. 90%, he would save $25,962. On top of that, no longer paying Virginia's state income taxes of 5.5% is an additional $8,625. For the full year, he's going to save $34,587. Now, he was paying his taxes monthly, so per month, he's going to save $2,882 per month. And in January of 2026, he plans to take that $34,587 and put it on a down payment on a house in Northern Virginia. It's his money. He can do whatever he wants. If he made more than $150,000 in 2025, he would have saved more than $34,587. If he made less than that, he would save less than that. So again, we were doing what ifs, if that makes sense. Now, my personal story. I became a real estate investor after a watershed month of October 2018. Three major things happened for me. I'm living in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm working as a Medicare broker, and my oldest nephew is getting married in Charlotte, North Carolina, October 27th, 2018. I had the time saved up, and I asked for the Friday before the wedding, the Monday after the wedding off because I had friends and family coming in from all over the world. They said no. I didn't like being a Medicare broker, and I liked it even less. Second thing that happened, my 3-week-old Hyundai Veloster, 2018 Hyundai Veloster with a moonroof. I'm driving to work to be at work at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm the second car through in a green light on Indian School Road in Phoenix. I'm going through the intersection and some idiot runs a red light, T-bones me on my passenger side, and Mr. Idiot had no insurance. I had uninsured property damage of $25,000, but I was upside down on my auto loan and I needed a second loan. All of a sudden, I went from being comfortable to eating ramen noodles twice a week, just like I did in college when I was 21. I'm now 53. Third thing that happened, my mom and dad, who lived in Goodyear, Arizona, 25 miles west of Phoenix on I-10, drove from Goodyear to Charlotte for the wedding and were supposed to be gone for 2 weeks. My dad calls me Thursday before the wedding to say my mom's in the emergency room. They're not sure what's wrong, not to change my flight. Still come in. I was going to do a red eye Friday night to Saturday morning. Still come in Saturday morning, and he'll tell me more. My two nephews and my dad met me at the airport. Family tradition. We went off to IHOP for breakfast. The two nephews went back to the house. My dad takes me to the hospital in Pineville, North Carolina, to see my mom. I walked in on the priest giving my mom last rites. I was not ready for that. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, my oldest nephew gets married in a church wedding. We go to a country club for a fantastic reception. I ate too much, I drank too much, I danced too much. My feet were killing me. Next day, my sister-in-law puts on a beautiful buffet. We were making fun of her because we were calling it the smorgasbord. She's like, I'm Italian, it's not a smorgasbord. My dad taps me on the shoulder. It's 12:30. He's taking me back to the hospital to see my mom and then dropping me off at the airport because I had to be back at work on Monday, October 30th at 6 a.m. This is the first house I bought in the trust. I was a real estate investor. I bought this house in July of 2020 for $20,000. I knew at 24%. Oh, let me tell you the rest of the story. My mom was on a ventilator for 13 months, in a hospital for 15 months. She had septic of the blood. It got into her pacemaker. They had to do open heart surgery. My dad stayed with my mom in Charlotte at my brother and sister-in-law's house, seeing her every day in the hospital. I was going out to their house every weekend to do the mail because my dad was supposed to be gone for 2 weeks. First week of December, there was a letter that was 27 pages thick. That was my mom's Medicare statement, not a bill, her Medicare statement. They go into the emergency room, and 1 month on the ventilator was $72,000. My dad was retired military. They had TRICARE for life. Everything's being done for her and being paid for. I'm standing in my mom and dad's kitchen. I hate my job. I have 2 car loans and just 1 car. I have a mortgage. I have student loans because I went to graduate school. I have credit card debt, and I need to change my life. My friend Glenn had invited me to a real estate meeting back in August of 2018. I call him from my parents' kitchen. He answers. He's like, Sally, next Saturday, we're having a Christmas potluck dinner. Get a $5 gift and bring some food. I knew Glenn and Rhonda quite well, but I knew nobody else. I go to the party. I had a great time. I joined the real estate group in late December. In 2019, with my mentor, Jay Tannenbaum, I wholesaled 7 properties nationwide, bank-owned properties nationwide, paid off all my debt, $184,000, and I had $50,000 in my bank account. Now, looking at this, on April 4th of 2020, my CPA calls me and says, congratulations, I went from 22% tax bracket to 24% tax bracket. Whoops, that's 2026. And all of a sudden, instead of owing $50,000, I owed the federal government $94,000. I had nothing coming in. My 3 properties didn't pay me on April 1st, and I was broke. So I slept on it. A great book to read is Power of Conscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. When I woke up on April 5th, I researched getting a HELOC off my paid off house, defeats the purpose of being paid off. And then I started researching the Rockefellers Spendthrift Trust. I started both my business and beneficial spendthrift trust September of 2020. And my first property in that trust was this Rocky Mount property that I bought for $20,000 that was going to go to auction after COVID. I knew from the $20,000 to $50,000, that $30,000 spread at 24% tax bracket would be $7,110. Because it was in the trust, I wouldn't have to pay any capital gains on it. When it finally went to auction on August 28th of 2021, the final bid was $64,326. Without lifting a hammer, the way I like to do my investing, I got to make $44,326. More importantly, at 24% tax bracket, I got to save $10,368 in capital gains I'll never have to pay back. I just put that into more real estate. Now, the beneficial trust is for investors. You will save the following 5 taxes. You will no longer pay short-term or long-term capital gains when you sell something at a profit. So if you wholesale, fix and flip, if you have auction houses, tax liens, you're selling crypto, you're doing options trading, you're a forex investor, that's short-term capital gains. Yes, crypto, if you bought it in 2017 and you sell it in 2026, it's still short-term capital gains. Long-term capital gains are if you're selling your business, selling an investment property you've held for more than a year, or a baseball card. Interest income taxes. If you're a passive investor, maybe you're in mutual funds, you're in a REIT, you're doing subject to real estate, you're doing the BRRRR strategy. I personally have notes where I'm the bank of Sally. I have the mortgage. People pay me their mortgage every month. Creative financing, selling financing, or forex investor. Yes, forex investors, you get taxed twice. Capital gains and interest income taxes. You need to know about the Beneficial Spendthrift Trust. Dividend income taxes. If you're in the stock market, you're a day trader, you're a futures trader, you're a commodities trader, or you're living off of dividends. Again, tax between 10% to 37% depending on your tax bracket. Rental income taxes. If you are a real estate investor, yes, you can move a property with depreciation schedule into the trust. Yes, you can move a property with cost averaging into the trust because it's going to keep your information completely private. And if the renter's dog gets out and bites the mailman, they can't come after you. And you never have to worry about either depreciation or cost averaging ever again. So if you have short-term rentals like Airbnb, vacation rentals, 3 doors, 5 doors, 10 doors, 20 doors, 100 doors, maybe you're in multifamily, apartment buildings, commercial property, or you're doing Airbnb arbitrage. The only one that's not on here is royalty income taxes. There's 7 different layers to royalty income taxes, but it's between 10% to 35%. So if you're an actor, an actress, a musician, you're an author, an artist, maybe you have NFTs, you have copyrights, patents, or intellectual property. Robin Williams, the late great actor, had the Beneficial Spendthrift Trust. Yes, he committed suicide, but now his 3 adult children pay no royalties on any of his works. Now, this is capital gains. So if this is a true story, the son saw my TikTok video over Christmas. His parents were selling the family restaurant that Jim and his 2 brothers built 42 years earlier. Jim had never been on Zoom, so we talked by phone. He knew they were selling it for $3 million. I didn't know if they were going to pay 15%, which would be $450,000, or 20%, that would be $600,000. Jim asked me to call his business broker, Sam, because we had changed the contract. Sam's like, whoa, on this deal, I'm going to make $30,000, and I have 3 other deals coming up in 2023. Sam became my JV partnership. Sam calls the gentleman who's buying this family restaurant, Michael. It's going to be his 7th restaurant in 3 different states. Michael's like, whoa, can she save me how much money in taxes? He bought the business trust. Because Sam's my affiliate, Sam got paid an extra $1,000 because he told somebody else about it. Now, one of the things that people, if you're 65 and on Medicare, you could be younger than that, the health problems, but every October, the IRS goes back 2 years. So October 2025, they went back to people who filed a 1040 tax return who's on Medicare, and they check everything and add it all together. How much you're getting from Social Security, how much you're getting from your pensions, how much you're getting from wages, 401k withdrawals, SEP withdrawals, interest income taxes, capital gains, dividend income taxes, rental income taxes, or royalty income taxes, and add it all together. One of my clients, a husband and wife, he's 70, she's 68. They contacted me because the husband had invested in dividend income, or makes quite a bit in dividend income taxes. And I asked them if they were getting surcharge for IRMA. The wife said yes. Each one was paying over $485 per month for IRMA. If you're single and make more than $106,000, everything added together, they will surcharge you on parts B and D on your Medicare. If you're married and make more than $212,000, again, this is 2025 numbers, they're going to surcharge you on parts B and D of Medicare. So I was able to save them dividend income taxes and everything by $185 per month for each one of them. They had to pay that, but an extra $600 per month because they no longer had to do the surcharge on IRMA because the trust files a 1041 tax return, not a 1040 tax return. Now, if you would like to set up a 30-minute tax breakthrough session with me, it's www.thetrustisyou.com scheduling. Again, my free class online is my first name and my last name together. You're going to get the presentation. You're going to get 3 articles from Forbes magazine I did not write. You're going to get 2 pages of case law to research this to your heart's content and examples of clients saving thousands of dollars. Whoops, stop sharing, sorry. So now, like I said, I'm going to stop recording this. I'm going to open it up for questions. Let me stop.